guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy. He's 42 years old. He's divorced. He's been happily divorced ever since his late 20s when his marriage just, went to you-know-where in a handbasket. And ever since then, he's been a bachelor, really enjoying it. He's been working on his grind, his purpose, saving money, doing well, taking care of himself. And along the way, he's obviously dated, had flings, hookups, and all that, but swore he would never get married again. Then about 8 months ago, he started dating this young gal, 26 years old, or 16 years younger than him. And he's having a blast for very obvious reasons, because she's smoking hot and definitely fun in the bedroom. And absolutely no surprise, two things are going on. Number one, it is absolutely infuriating the women in his life, like his sister or other female family members, female friends, and even women in public that give him dirty looks, make comments because, God forbid, this guy in his 40s who's a catch, who's a bachelor, is dating a young, beautiful woman. Like that's never happened in history. Not to mention guys are jealous too. But also, to no surprise, after 8 months in, she's starting to drop hints. Obviously, she's looking for a future. And this guy absolutely ain't getting married again. No way, no how. I don't care how good looking she is. So he's writing in asking for my help and your advice as well. What we all think about this, what he should do. Drop her or continue on a little bit longer. Who knows? And I'm also going over this to, again, reiterate the point, how just crazy it makes women, when they see men their age dating young, beautiful women. Makes them crazy. Even though that they themselves probably did that to some degree when they're younger, but it didn't work out with that guy. And I say this, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, guys. If you are a bachelor and you got your life together, multiple fronts, and you like young, beautiful women, then do it. Be a Leonardo DiCaprio. Who cares? If somebody gets mad, the hell with them. So I'm going to go through this. And, oh, by the way, real quick before I get into this, I had another guy write me who also is a bachelor, divorced, and kind of like this guy, except he's 64. And he's going to impart some wisdom to the community out there for all the bachelors or future bachelors out there. And then I'll get to the main story. It's definitely worth your time. So the first one, this guy says, "Greetings, SSM. I've been following your videos for a while and noticed a lot of decent guys buying into an ancient narrative of female thinking. I thought sharing my experience might offer some insight to younger men navigating the unpredictable terrain of modern relationships. I'm 64 years old and happily single. I was once married 25 years ago and raised 3 sons. Okay, 25 years ago, so it ended when you were about 39, turning 40. Around this guy's age, the other guy whose story I'm going to cover. But my ex chose personal happiness over family unity, and ironically, after I spent years putting my own happiness aside for the sake of our family, well, these days I proudly call myself a professional bachelor. Did you just pretty much say that your wife was able to sacrifice her family for her happiness, and you sacrifice your happiness for the family? Right there. Typical cliche. Well, when my ex walked away from her role as a mother and partner, friends and family urged me to start dating again. Of course they did. I went along with it, almost mechanically, only to realize how misguided that was. Many women that I met had rigid expectations wanting me to fit into their idealized version of a partner. The hell with them. You're a bachelor. You can do whatever you want. And by the way, I'm guessing they were probably around your age range, divorced, middle-aged women. What the hell they bring to the table? I mean, don't get me wrong. There are good-looking women in the 30s and 40s and cool ones, but let's be honest, the majority out there aren't exactly, 8s or above. A common refrain was, "My husband didn't understand me," and all things like that. Eventually, I began asking, "Well, if you don't understand yourself, how do you expect me to?" That question usually ended the date, but it was a litmus test, and most failed. In my experience, many women, not all, struggle with accountability and are too proud to admit it. Yep, I would say the majority, in my experience, no, there is no accountability. They will try to get out of it any way possible, and it never ceases to amaze me. Men will, not all, but it seems like most men will. They'll admit when they screw up. It says here, "During my journey of self-rebuilding in my younger years, I met a single mother. Let us call her Mary." Smack! You know why I did that. We seemed to connect, or so I thought. After a few dates, she told me she only wanted friendship. Damn, dude, you got friends zoned by a single mom. I mean, that's pretty low. But you know what? You were getting back in the swing of things. And actually, to be honest, that was a blessing in disguise. Well, it's been a long time. I've been around long enough to decode that. She was politely saying that I wasn't going to be part of her life, romantically or otherwise. Dude, she did you a favor. You dodged a big one. Sure, it bruised my ego, but I moved on and chalked it up as a blessing in disguise. Well, a couple years later, a mutual friend told me Mary had returned to dating men who had mistreated her, just like before. She suggested I reach out, to which I declined. Wait, this female friend of yours is trying to encourage you to go reach out to the single mom who has a history of guys that treat her like crap? That's not a friend. Mary had made her choice, and I wasn't going to play therapist or savior. I invested too much of my own growth to throw it away on someone unwilling to do the same. You learned through your first marriage. Some younger guys might wonder how I managed without a romantic partner. Not this channel. The truth is, the intimacy I experienced in past relationships, including my marriage, wasn't fulfilling. Now I have far more to protect: my finances, my dignity, my self-worth. I've come to realize I'm not the man society tries to box in. I'm better. If I ever do marry again, it'll be on my terms. She'll need to meet my standards, not the other way around. And if that means I live out my daily days solo, so be it. I'll die happy with my legacy intact, not broken. Wonderful. That's a great attitude. I wish more guys were like that. In short, gentlemen, when you see that attractive young woman all dressed to impress, take a moment to consider what you're truly willing to give up. Because more often than not, the price is steep. Broken dreams and a drained bank account. Amen. This is from a 64-year-old bachelor who's been a bachelor for 25 years. Absolutely dead on. But remember, guys, and I've said this plenty of times, and you've heard the saying, women hold the keys to the bedroom, men hold the keys to relationships. Well, there's a point that they all want relationships one way or another for whatever reason. There's lots of reasons there. That's where you have the power. And this guy here, he's in the best place he can be. He's indifferent. He doesn't give a shit. If a gal comes along that he enjoys her company, and she's cool, and she takes care of herself for her age, of course, because he's 64, okay, he'll give her a shot. But if it doesn't work out, he doesn't care. And that's how you have to be, guys. You have to be indifferent. You have to be unattached. And when you're that way, newsflash, last time I checked, a lot of women are attracted to guys that are indifferent and don't get attached. They're a challenge. They behave in a way they can care less either way. They're comfortable who they are. That's where you want to be. Not, of course, to get women, but that's how you should be in general. Because guys that aren't indifferent, guys that have attachment issues, that need to have someone because they can't be alone, you're fucked. And trust me, those of you who've been around the block, you know I'm right. So guys, this is what you'll learn from. You don't need a gal in your life to make you happy, bring you happiness, or to fulfill things. That's nonsense. Now, on to our main story. This guy says, hello, SSM. I watched your channel on and off for a number of years. I'm a fellow masshole living far away from the Bay State right now. Your slight accent and general bearing is like a taste of home. Holy crap, another masshole that escaped Massachusetts. Well, good to talk to you, man. I'm going to be in Massachusetts in December for a few days. It'll be kind of nice to see that place for a few days. I'll have some clam chowder, or chowder. English is, in fact, my first language, so if I make any mistakes, I apologize for simply being an idiot. If you use this, you can edit or rewrite this whatever you want to make it suitable for your channel. So where do I begin? I'm 42 years old. I was married for 9 years in my 20s. No kids by mutual decision, mostly because we were dirt poor. That ended in a messy divorce, and I wish I had all the access to your channel in those days. Well, nope. Back in those days, number one, I was having my own crazy life, and, we all had to learn the hard way. Suffice to say, that whole experience was a crash course in learning how to act and how not to act regarding women. I had a handful of relationships over the years after, longest lasting a bit over a year, and a smattering of flings, but followed my first marriage disaster. The only thing I firmly cleave to is, wait for it, no marriage ever. I'm glad you stuck with that, man. I have been sometimes a viewer and a subscriber to your channel as well as many other RP channels for a few years now, and what you say has been a great help to me in cementing my resolve and attitude towards women and relationships. It has helped me take the right lessons from my life experience and streamline my own instincts in an effective way and live a strong and moderately successful male life, so many thanks. Well, bro, thanks to you. Thanks for watching the channel, listening to the stories, using that to help you out. That's where you are. That's why you are in the place that you're in right now. I'm not writing today about my old marriage or various encounters and relationships in my 30s, although I certainly had more than a few experiences that could make for entertaining episodes of your channel. I'm not going to talk about my job or other aspects of my life besides the below, mainly for privacy reasons, but also because it's not really relevant. Let's just say that after many years of scraping by and saving and investing, grinding and being single, I'm an older single guy with few needs, a solid financial situation, and a decent job. I guess I'm doing well for a 42-year-old. Yeah, you definitely are doing well for a 42-year-old. And you like your life, and you're happy. Today I'm writing in about a woman I have been seeing for almost 10 months now. Okay, my bad, 10 months now. After a multi-year dry spell, no women at all, she's 26. Let us call her Ivy. I want to talk a bit about the age gap thing and some of my recent issues involving Ivy. At age 42 years old, it's surprising how good just about a non-obese 26-year-old woman looks. But even by objective standards, Ivy is what her peers might call a smoke show. In other words, you got yourself a hottie. Congratulations. Sounds like she's a 9 or a 10. Well, those are the ones you have fun with. They're not the ones that you get too serious about and let alone marry, but then again, you don't want to get married to. I met her in a sales room of a business I have to visit 5 or 6 times a month. At first, I thought her flirty and vivacious attitude was a natural sales charm, and I guess at least to begin with, it was. I'm not a bad-looking guy for my age, if I do say so myself, but it never even crossed my mind that a young woman like her would have the slightest romantic interest in someone my age. But eventually, she became forward and familiar enough that I asked her out. She accepted, and things took off from there. Hey, you never know unless you try. Good for you for having the balls to do it. Most guys wouldn't do it, you know? And obviously, she liked you because she was making it easy for you to have the confidence to ask her out. I'm sure she probably did that a lot. She's probably like, it's about fucking time you asked me out, dude. I've been flirting with you for 3 months. But that's good. And there are women out there, young women that like older guys. They are attracted to older men. But let's not kid ourselves. A lot of them are attracted to older men also for what we can provide. And you're going to see it's no different here. Maybe she has daddy issues, who knows, but you get to bang a damn good-looking 26-year-old and get dirty looks from women and men your age. Well, I'm old enough and have been around the block long enough to approach this thing with extreme caution. Good. Absolutely go into this with extreme caution. I wasn't sailing into this with the expectation that it was true love or even true like. It's much more than a straightforward sugar baby relationship, but never for a moment have I failed to recognize the fact that I could afford to lavish more disposable income on her. More than 99% of men her age wasn't a factor. Ding, ding, ding. You got to be smart about this, guys. Of course, they know that you can take them on great vacations and restaurants and all that. They know. Absolutely. Well, sleeping with and spending time with somebody who unironically says things such as, it's low-key giving fire, has scrambled my own vocabulary to some extent. I don't pretend to be, dress, or act younger than my age. If anything, being myself as an older male is part of the appeal to her. It doesn't take Sigmund Freud to know that daddy issues are in play. Hey, if she's got daddy issues, you get the benefit from it. Everybody's happy. And good, I'm glad to hear that you're not changing yourself for her. Now, if you dress like a fucking slob and she encouraged you to dress better, that's one thing. But if you look good and you have your own style, don't change for anybody at all. Do I care? Not at all. The blazing hot action in bed with this 26-year-old body is more than enough compensation to drown out any noise. Or so I thought. There's a lot I could say, if you're interested in using this story, that I can write more specifically on points like the following. Attitudes of friends and family range from highly positive to highly negative. Here we go. Here we go with the hate, because he's dating a young, beautiful woman. awkwardness of hanging out with her Gen Z friends for both me and her. Yeah, that's got to be kind of weird. Dirty looks and comments from random women or longing, jealous looks from other men. It's none of their fucking business. Yeah, they're pissed off because they're single from either never getting married or divorced, and they see a guy your age that's about their age, and you're with this young, beautiful woman, and they're like, he's an asshole. Like, you're forcing her. She's choosing you, for God's sakes. And a lot of these women would have done the same thing if they could have when they were younger. Both of us look young for our age. It's not so much of an age gap that people assume she's my daughter, but more than enough of one that merely loosely holding hands in the street causes crazy seething and coping by any woman over 30. Sounds about right, because 30 years old is the age they want to get married by, because they know that their street market value, if you will, is declining at that point. My sister giving me a stern talking to that I'm corrupting the youth. Get the fuck out of here. You're not corrupting anybody. Your girl, Ivy, is a young adult. She made her choice to be with you, for God's sakes. Come on here. It's nonsense. Corrupting the youth. Who are you, Socrates? Tell your sister to mind her own fucking business. Well, lately, Ivy has been acting kind of sulky and casting long, searching looks into my eyes. I'm getting the feeling that she wants something deeper than sleepovers, dinners at good restaurants, and casual conversations in the breakfast nook. I remain rock solid in my multi-decade commitment to being, well, uncommitted. Should I ride this crazy train longer or get out at the next stop? Well, guys, feel free to type away here. Here's the thing, man. She knew what she was getting into. But don't make no mistake that she probably had in her mind that she could get you to change your mind. I'm sure you made it clear in the beginning that you were divorced, now want to get married again, and probably in her mind, she's so hot and so beautiful, and all guys want her, that eventually, with enough bedroom action and charm, she can get into your heart and your package and change your mind. And clearly that hasn't happened, and thank God for that. When I first read your email, I thought you were ready to break your no marriage rule. Well, if it's been a good time with her for the last 10 months, if she's proven to be cool, good time to hang out with, good attitude, all that, then you owe it to her to be honest with her, if you haven't been so already. And just let her know that, again, I'm never getting married. I'm not having kids. I'm not doing all that. And if this is what she really, really wants, she really wants to have a husband and family, everything, then it's time to cut ties and move on. And try to do it, again, on the basis that she's been a good girlfriend in the most kind and patient and, frankly, loving way possible. Doesn't mean you're in love with her or anything like that. And that's what I think. And I'm willing to bet you probably she'll be shocked because probably no guy's ever dumped her before because obviously her looks and body and all that. And one of two things will happen is she'll be furious over this whole thing and try to make your life a living hell, or become even more obsessed with you. I'm going to guess probably option B, and probably try to tell you, no, it's okay. I don't need to be married. I want to be with you, that type of thing. Well, I'm sure you've learned through life experience and hear enough of these videos here that a gal will promise and promise and promise that, no, I don't need to get married, but she's just hoping to wear you down. And next thing you know, I'm pregnant. It's yours. And off you go. Whether that's yours or not, you know how to handle it accordingly. So to be perfectly honest, man, I wouldn't ride this train much longer. I think it's time to cut her loose. It's time to do your Leonardo DiCaprio. I know she's 26. His cutoff age is 25. Time to do the DiCaprio and cut her loose relatively soon. And then you want to hook up with another 26-year-old or 24-year-old, knock yourself out. Because this is not going to work. And again, if she's been a good girl and you like her personality and she's giving you no reason to be like, just get the hell out of here, bitch, then do it in a kind, loving way. Let her know it's not going to happen and move on. Because you're not doing her any favors if she's staying with you for years on end and you're never going to marry her, never going to give her kids, any of that type of thing. And sadly, we know how a lot of these stories go. They will take other measures to ensure that you might marry them. And I don't want that to happen to you. So, you've been having a good time. That's awesome. You've been pissing off women your age along the way, and that's a great benefit of this. But now it's time to cut loose. That's what I would do. Of course, I'm not in your shoes, and I'm not banging her, but I understand where you're coming from here. So that's what I think. However, if you do stay with her, and that's your choice, be aware the longer that you're with her, the more of an attachment she's going to build up to you, and it's going to be a more difficult breakup. And I might add, it's possible the longer you're with her, you might change your mind. You may grow an attachment without realizing you're growing an attachment, and that's the last thing you want to do. In fact, if you are starting to grow an attachment, this is definitely the time to cut loose before you do something stupid. Just remember what you went through in the divorce 13, 14 years ago, and I think that's all it's going to take to make sure, because you have worked hard, obviously, to get where you are in life. You don't want to fuck all that up just because, some pretty girl, because if her looks and her body type are what really rope you in, guess what? She's going to age. Physically, she will not look like she does now in 10 years or 20 years. So keep that in mind. Yeah, you'll be in your 60s then with a 40-something-year-old chick, and that's an advantage, but still. So, man, that's what I think here. I would cut it loose pretty darn soon and go from there. So, anyhow, guys, there you go. So, guys, please do comment away. Let them know what you think about this. We can hopefully help this guy out. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down. I just said that. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.